I like to call PSR therapy with legs because you have a person that comes to you rather than a psychologist that you have to drag kicking and screaming your person with a mental illness.
I don't know why people think that the building you live in somehow makes a difference. It's not like you can't provide the same thing under the roof of your home and within the walls of your home. You can provide those same services.
For me, I'm a college student seeking to better myself, and if it weren't for these services, I wouldn't be here today. They are helping me go into the college placement and advance and socially network.
The world is beginning to change for people with disabilities. Where once such individuals were restricted by a wall of segregation and stereotype, they're now living full, independent lives. Much of this newfound freedom can be attributed to new options in the services provided to men and women with disabilities. Here in Idaho, as well as areas across the nation, there's been a shift from traditional institutionalization to providing people with services in their own communities and homes. People with disabilities have not always enjoyed the opportunities afforded to other Idaho citizens. The struggle to provide integrative methods of care has been fraught with difficulty, most of which stems from the outdated belief that individuals with disabilities can only be properly cared for when placed in institutions and removed from society.
That was what happened with everybody with a disability. You went to some sort of institution. You either went to a state-run institution or you went to a nursing home. So people went to institutions because there was no other place to live.
And it was during the 70s that certain investigative reporters went into those institutions and they discovered horrific conditions. They discovered all manner of abuse. It was clearly discrimination.
The staff there didn't think that I mattered one bit. I had a stomach flu in which the staff handed me a fresh blanket and told me to go back to sleep. I felt so sick that I couldn't go to sleep, so then I called 911 and had the ambulance take me so I could get proper medical care.
There was a movement back then, it was called the deinstitutionalization movement. People were starting to explore different ways to provide services to people with disabilities in the communities so that they didn't have to live in institutions.
When parents and family members began to demand that we stop doing institutionalization, that instead that we provide community alternatives, it became clear that you could actually save money doing that.
So people from state-run mental health hospitals, state-run hospitals for people with developmental disabilities, all those people were starting to be kind of transitioned into the community and on a limited basis, but has grown over the years.
The therapists we've had some very good ones that have been able to teach her in ways that I couldn't teach her. Having the IBI therapy has helped her to be more in control so that I can take her out in public and not have her throw a temper tantrum.
I graduated high school and I went out there, I tried to go find jobs, and then I got in trouble. I was in Intermountain, West Valley, St. Anthony's, and I was in the girls' home, off and on. I didn't know there was help out here.
As a therapy tech, you teach them life skills. Skills to handle social life out in the community, how to interact with other people, blend in, not to stand out. You teach them money skills, budgeting, everything that we deal with in life, we've helped them and teaching them skills to be able to do that themselves.
I've been planning on getting on my own for 8 years now, since I've been in ResHab, and I finally made it to that goal with Community Partnership's help.
The littlest steps mean the biggest success. Seeing progress in Jasmine's program or anyone else's program, and it's just really wonderful to see it. And it's great to see their smiles when things go right. They know it and they're happy.
It is impossible to overstate the positive impact of community-based services, both on the lives of the many individuals they serve and in the areas they work in. Unfortunately, Idaho's fiscal policies do not reflect these contributions. While governmental dollars continue to prop up archaic institutional care, funding for community-based services has not kept up with inflation rates. If this trend is not reversed soon, many community-based service organizations will be forced to close their doors, leaving countless individuals unable to achieve their potential.
Without being willing to invest in this set of supports, if it starts to crumble, then these people don't just disappear. Something will happen. People they'll get in trouble, they'll lose their housing placement, they won't be able to sustain their jobs.
If we don't provide the in-home services, what's going to happen is that will force people into institutions, which will end up costing the taxpayers more money in not only the long run, but the short run as well. Everything can't be measured in the sense of dollars. There's also what it's going to do to people and what it's going to do to their lives, and how much control and freedom it's going to take from them.
I guess there's a misconception that if your child's in public school, there's resources there, so maybe you shouldn't need PSR. I challenge you, take a day out of your very busy life, go spend it in someone else's shoes who is walking this road before you pull the plug on what makes our life work.
The idea of her going into an institution it's sad. That would make me very sad. I don't think that they would understand her and treat her and teach her the things she needs to learn to be a productive person in life.
And I can see her going back into the wheelchair and staying there, and that would be totally sad.
If someone were to see a human face with this and go and talk to the people who are largely affected by the services face to face, they will see the need for these services.
In good economic times, we did not make the investment that we should have made in our community support system. Now it's going to take a lot more courage, but it's more important than ever that we invest in this infrastructure and keep this community support system alive. Because if we don't keep this community support system alive, we cannot go back to the old system.
The citizens of Idaho who live with disabilities are not so very different from those who live without them. They desire the same opportunities and the same freedoms that their neighbors enjoy, and they want to become an integral part of the communities in which they live. Most importantly, they want to be empowered to determine the destiny of their own lives. Each of us can aid in providing our fellow citizens with these fundamental rights. By supporting community-based services, we are supporting the tools that will allow these individuals to achieve their dreams of independence and amalgamation into society. What investment of greater importance can there be?